So I prefer to squash this or apologize to all of them because I know this was embarrassing for all of them.
I'm at the point of no return. I'm at that point.
Hey, you guys believe the internet?
Dame says unity. Harlem hears an apology. Cam says point of no return. The internet says cap. Tonight, we stress test the olive branch. Put Dame's peace plea next to the laugh track, then stack receipts. If the paperwork and the boundaries line up, the apology reads like leadership. If not, it reads like surrender, dressed as wisdom. Keep watching. We'll let the quotes and the contracts do the talking.
I want to apologize to all of them because I know this was embarrassing for all of them. And I can't be violent and I won't be violent. My job is to keep them out of jail. So the only way I can deal with things is keep certain things out of the algorithm. Just to answer as soon as somebody says something. If y'all want to sit down and work it out and maybe do a TV show together, just showing the world that we can work together. You guys believe the internet? You guys are adults that believe what you read and hear in the newspaper. You guys are talking about things with no research. That's not fair. Actually, I'm going to keep it on you.
Dame isn't firing shots from a podium. He's talking like a boardroom elder. He says the quiet part first, embarrassing to Harlem. That frames the beef as a brand problem. Great IP, awful optics. The offer is specific. Stop feeding the algorithm, sit down off camera, and come back on camera with a product that proves Black unity travels farther than petty clips. The risk is obvious. Apologies get clipped into jokes faster than contracts get signed. The second clip lands why this is hard. Belief. If fans believe rumors, the olive branch reads as retreat. If they believe receipts, it reads as leadership. Dame's fix is to change where the proof lives. Not in comments, but in deliverables. Clear lanes on what any paid-in-full spinoff would require. Underlying rights, life rights, soundtrack, brand, likeness, and who actually has the keys. If he wants Harlem's trust back, he needs signatures, not slogans. A neutral EP attached, a clearance map, a timeline. But every sentence of patience competes with someone else's punchline. The culture grades on code. Don't bring family in, don't embarrass the borough, don't turn private pain into public profit. Dame's message targets those nerves. Still, if Cam keeps calling point of no return, and if 50 keeps selling confidence like a trailer, unity gets read as weakness unless the paper says otherwise. The chapter closes with a simple test. Can Dame convert embarrassing to Harlem into profitable for Harlem in writing?
Now I'm at the point of no return. This was totally unnecessary. The way it went about for me, you keep going on the internet looking for internet sympathy.
It don't matter if you win or lose. Swing on them. That's my hitter. I feel I could beat them with a little lesbian white girl. I just want to see if we can do it for fun. Let's go battle Cam and 50 because 50 stepped into the conversation.
2 bricks block the olive branch. Brick 1, Cam's boundary. He's not debating paperwork, he's saying trust is dead. When he labels it point of no return, he's turning the laugh into policy. Cordial at best, no partnership. Brick 2, the trolling economy. Dame's own bravado clip, "We can beat 50 and Cam," is jet fuel for the timeline. It makes every apology feel like a pivot, not a principle. How do you fight laughter? With time and paper. If 50's flex is just momentum, then the laugh gets expensive once clearances and rights grids hit the table. If the flex is backed by options, assignments, or a real shopping deal, the laugh turns to leverage. Meanwhile, Cam's boundary won't move with contracts alone. That needs a code repair. No more family mentions, no more rumor recycling, no more ammo. From here, we stack the receipts. Next chapter, what owning paid in full actually means versus what it sounds like, and whether Dame's cap call holds up.
What about it?
Did you own Paid in Full? Like, how did 50 Cent acquire ownership of Paid in Full?
Do you remember when 50 Cent was supposed to be putting out a documentary about Puff on Netflix?
Yes.
Where is it?
Here is where the apology collides with the paperwork. The audience keeps hearing one word, owns. But in film and TV, that word splits into lanes. Underlying story rights, remake and sequel rights, title and trademark issues, life rights from real people, distribution, music masters and publishing, and the right to use images from the original film. One lane lets you talk, several lanes let you build. All of the lanes let you deliver. That is why the Prove It challenge matters so much here. So we're going to put the claims next to each other and let the tape speak. On one side, you have 50 moving like a rollout, confident captions, a Harlem cosign, the energy of a green light. On the other side, you have Dame answering the core question straight on a hot mic. Did he ever truly own what everyone now wants to expand? And how could anyone have acquired ownership in 2025 without him? The answer lives in the details, options, assignments, shopping agreements. and the difference between based on and authorized. If you've ever tried to clear a docuseries, you know the truth. The internet can crown you a winner long before legal can clear a single frame. Here's the real tell. When the rights holder's story is clean, executives brag about it. When it's messy, everybody talks like a visionary while the lawyers work quietly in the background. And that's where Dame's olive branch starts to feel strategic, not soft. Sit down, on camera or off, and walk Harlem through an adult conversation. Who wrote the original screenplay? Who controls the remake sequel rights today? Whether the title can be used as is? Whether anyone has secured life rights from the surviving figures? And how the music and logos would be licensed? If those answers are tight, 50 wins both perception and paper. If they're muddy, cap stops being an insult and starts sounding like a diagnosis.
Buy from paid in full. The thing there is I was there. I don't have to buy rights for my own story. I already told those guys' story. Now I'm telling my story, my paid in full. I don't have to buy the rights.
But there is a third possibility, coexistence. It's entirely possible to build a new series inspired by the same true events without using protected elements from the movie at all. That's a different product and a different promise. It can work, but only if the audience believes the creative team can access the people and the detail that made the original feel authentic. Which brings us back to the olive branch. If Dame is serious about unity, the fastest way to make the laughs expensive is to move the debate from captions to contracts and show Harlem receipts they can repeat without embarrassment. Dates, signatures, and deliverable. And there is a final reason to slow the timeline down. Consequences. A loose "we own it" claim can sour relationships with estates, unions, and rights holders you will need later. A sloppy "they're capping" claim can turn into a defamation headache if you guess wrong in public. The smart version of this fight is boring to watch, but beautiful to count. A clean chain of title, a calendar of deliverables, and 3 grown men who understand that Harlem wins biggest when nobody is forced to lose.
But I've been paying $250,000 a year in child support. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm broke? Yeah, I'm broke because I give it all to my family. Don't you understand that?
Now for the baggage that distorts every conversation. Money optics. The Breakfast Club made it memeable, numbers chopped from context, paperwork turned into personality, and a generation of viewers trained to treat bankruptcy as a confession instead of a tool. Dame tries to pull the camera back to responsibility. Fatherhood costs money, litigation costs money, and restructuring exists so a business can live to fight another day. None of that matters if the only metric the timeline respects is humiliation. That is the gap the trolls exploit. 50 has built a whole second career on precision time humiliation, a 7-word caption that travels farther than a 40-page contract. You do not have to win discovery to win delivery. You just have to make the other guy look unserious. And every stray flex becomes fuel. When Dame jokes that he can beat 50 and Cam with a white lesbian rapper, it is clearly theater, but theater screenshots like evidence. It muddies the apology, makes the pivot look reactive, and gives the opposition an easy split screen, an earnest peace clip on the left, a cocky soundbite on the right.
But now I say what I say, and then my son calls me and says, Cam gave him some money to do an interview on his show, and that really bothered me because Cam knows. He known Boogie since he was born. He knows our relationship, the reasons for certain things. That would have really damaged our relationship. It would have fucked up a lot.
So the way out cannot be more talk. It has to be policy. First, separate family from content. No sons, no partners, no private struggles plugged into public marketing. Second, overshare the business in plain English. What revenue lanes exist, which partners are attached, what the next dated milestone is, and who signs it. Third, ship something that moves the scoreboard for Harlem, not just for egos. A funded pilot with neutral EPs. A cleared soundtrack moment that only real relationships could have delivered. A community check that says, we put money back where we took attention. One more uncomfortable truth. Audiences reward vulnerability when it is not weaponized. If you want to kill a rumor, put the facts in a format that cannot be chopped. An audited statement, a judge's order, or a dated deal memo. Then stop arguing. Trolls starve when nothing new drops. Replace the drip of defensive posts with the rhythm of completed milestones. Table reads, location locks, a casting announcement Harlem can cheer for. That is how you change an algorithm. you feed it results. And yes, the other side will still laugh. That is fine. Laughter is cheap. Delivery is expensive. The longer the paper stays clean and the projects move, the more every old clip looks like a relic from a different era. In the end, no one argues with the premiere date. Harlem judges by who shows up with something finished and who keeps dragging yesterday into today. If the apology was real, it will age into a partnership, or at least into peace.
Now I'm at the point of no return. I'm at that point. Because for me, it was totally unnecessary. The way it went about, for me, it didn't have to be public. It didn't have to be all this. All I said, I hate repeating how this started. I didn't pick the phone up. All I did was not pick the phone up, and you keep going on the internet looking for internet sympathy. Like he's doing now, he's carrying on.
That's the code book talking. In Harlem, a public back and forth is already a loss. Cam marks the moment beyond the debate about who owns what. Point of no return. That phrase isn't legal, it's cultural. It says the line wasn't crossed on paper, it was crossed in principle. A private friendship became public content. A private boundary became a public dare. Once that happens, apologies have to do more than soften tone. They have to repair code. Dame's olive branch targets the borough directly. Embarrassing to Harlem. That's smart because Harlem's rules are bigger than either man. No family, no cheap circus, no staining the block for views. If you violate those, the only way back is to over-respect the code in public. That means fewer captions and more structure. A sit-down off-camera, a clear on-camera statement of terms, and a deliverable that makes Harlem look stronger than the argument.
That's not the ideals that I want him to be. That's not the message. And that bothered me. It was embarrassing in that way. Like, damn, my OGness, my teaching is wrong. What's wrong with this? But I'm like, I don't know why he's doing it. And then I was gonna respond, but I was like, that's what everybody wants to see. Like 50 and Steve Stout, they had popcorn.
Dame frames the same wound from the elder side. Example, kids watching, OGs watching, popcorn watchers waiting for him to slip into the meme economy. That's why the apology hits different. It's not about losing an argument. It's about refusing to keep feeding one. If the goal is to stop embarrassing Harlem, then stop giving the algorithm cheap Harlem. So the real politics are simple and brutal. The man who stops the circus first looks like a leader if the paperwork and the principles line up behind him. Otherwise, the silence reads like surrender, and the loudest caption wins the election.
This is the thing. You guys believe the internet? You guys are adults that believe what you read and hear in the newspaper, and y'all talk the most. So you guys are talking about things with no research. That's not fair. See, the problem is, and this is, actually, I'm going to keep it on you.
So my question, could you cut me off? Question?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So my question is...
You cut him off too, Damon.
I said sorry.
Welcome to Internet Court, where evidence is optional and confidence is king. If you sound like a green light, you are one, until lawyers say otherwise. That's how 50 wins so many rounds without showing a single signature. He sells inevitability, and that's how an apology gets flipped into comedy. If the crowd believes the rumor, the grown man move reads like a white flag. The only antidote is to move slower than a caption and faster than a rumor. Put facts in formats that don't clip well. Deal memos, clean chains of title, dated milestones, and then shut up until the next milestone. Memes die when there's nothing to eat except progress. But if you throw them a boast, they'll feast for a week.
Yeah, I didn't mean to make a funny joke to guys that make jokes all day.
I want to ask you about a comment you made in our last interview about imaginary player. You made a comment about how Jay, he was taking shots at Mase, but you also said that he was taking some shots at some other rappers. Do you recall the other rappers he was taking shots at?
It was like whoever was out at that time, it was everybody. Everybody was putting, not fake diamonds, but they were putting, Rolex didn't make them, because that's what Jacob was doing. Because only dudes know how much watches really cost. And all the billionaires I know, they wear these. And I need mine because I got my blood sugar on there. And
even Dame knows the mechanics. He literally calls out the joke machine while joking. That's Internet Court's trap. You try to steer the narrative and accidentally feed it. The fix is not a better clapback. It's starving the beast with boring excellence. Dates, deals, deliverables. So here's the blueprint as we head toward the finish. Policy, not posture. No family names, no rumor recycling. No new meme ammo. Proof, not vibes. If 50's claim is real, paper it publicly. If Dame's cap call is right, walk Harlem through the grid. What's cleared, what isn't, and why. Product, not posts. Announce something that can't be argued with. A table read on the calendar, clearances locked, a neutral EP cosign that means something to the borough. When the internet is the judge, the only appeal is delivery. Every milestone makes the old laugh track sound like a rerun. That's the roadblock no contract can bulldoze. Personal policy. Cam's boundary isn't about legal lanes, it's about how a friend handled a friend in public. If that's the wound, the only bandage is private repair before any rollout. No captions, no cameras, a room, an apology, and a decision. If Dame wants peace to read as strength, men do, memes don't. That means 3 moves in order. 1. Principles. A public promise to keep family out of content, period. 2. Paper. Clarity on paid in full lanes on record from whoever actually holds each right. 3. Product. A dated milestone the city can circle. That's the grown man pivot. Move the fight off Instagram and onto signature lines. If the answers are clean, everyone can save face. 50 keeps his momentum, Cam keeps his code, and Dame proves the olive branch wasn't a white flag. It was a workflow. If that's where he lands, business over banter, then the only question left is whether the other two want to win bigger than a laugh. Because laughs fade, premiere dates don't. Dame put the olive branch on camera and asked Harlem to judge him by what he ships next, not by what got clipped last. Cam drew a line that contracts can't cross. 50 smirked and sold momentum like it was already papered. We've seen this movie, apology versus algorithm. The only twist that makes it end different is delivery. If the next time you hear about this, it's because a clearance grid is locked and a table read is scheduled, the laugh track dies on its own. If not, the timeline wins again. So here's the bet we're making. 3 men who built empires know how to build one more thing: silence when it's time to work. Harlem will believe the unity talk the day it can circle a date. Until then, we're stuck on reruns.